He came up to me and he goes, all right. And I said, yeah. He goes, never play like that for me again. I was like, all right.
Strangest things a manager has changed in the first few weeks.
One that just stick out, not so much changing things, but he's just come in and is so exactly how you expected him to be, and it was refreshing, was when we got Big Sam in. Because obviously,
God, love to know about Big Sam.
Right, honestly, he was brilliant. He just came we had a meeting, we all sat there. He's come in, we just walked in, just stood at the front with his cup of tea.
And just old school.
Yeah, just basically told us, like, but we're shit at defending. Just told us we need to sort this out. And that's what he did. There was no beating around the bush, but I think some of the lads
how did the defenders take it, out of interest?
Well, I think the lads who didn't really know much about him in terms of they'd been playing abroad or were foreign lads were a bit like taken aback. But obviously as English lads who've kind of even growing up have watched him as a manager, you know what he's like. We're just like this is brilliant. Just tell it to us how it is. And we can deal with it.
There's not that many from the old guard really left. Roy Hodgson, I flipping love. Have you met Roy Hodgson? Yeah. Like the thing I love about him.
Not properly, but
oh, okay. Like he looks like he's always ready for a tear up.
Yeah, doesn't he? He's aggressive. He seems like he's an aggressive guy.
But he looks like a run-of-the-mill older gentleman who wouldn't say boo to a goose.
Yeah.
And then a 23-year-old sort of right back nudges him.
And he's ready to deck him. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. But when I think of old school managers, I go, can they compete now? Because how technical managing is now. There's like, but our old school was Sam very technical though?
I mean, it was simplifying.
Or was it like
football.
get your nut in there basically?
Yeah, it was simplifying it and just go back to the basics, which obviously at the time, well, last year we weren't very good at. So he had a job on his hands. I mean, it definitely got us tighter at the back, and I think if he'd been there a little bit longer, it would have been fine. But it is funny if you think of the let's say old-fashioned managers or old school. I don't know who else you put in this list, but Sam Allardyce, Tony Pulis.
Love Tony Pulis.
And I played under both of them, and even though the football people see it as outdated or whatever, honestly, as managers, they were brilliant. Like the thing is, there was no nonsense with them in terms of they were honest with you. Like if you were shit, they would tell you were. I remember we played. So when Sam came in, we played Man City away, which was obviously a tough game anyway. And I felt like a dog trying to chase a ball that I was getting nowhere near.
Oh,
and
man.
I remember after the game, I was like, wow, I've not done anything that game, and I felt shit. And he came up to me and he goes, all right? And I said, yeah. He goes, never play like that for me again. I was like, all right. So I knew then I was like, okay, that just reaffirmed what I already knew. I had a shocker. And I was thinking that, look, there wasn't much I could do about it. We were playing City away, but fair enough. And then the next game, I can't remember who we played, but he came to me and I'd played quite well. And he was really happy with me. He was like, that was much better. That's what I need. And so just like that refreshing.
Did it mean the world because you'd been told off the week before?
No, because I know when I've been shit, like, I know more than I don't need telling.
But it's nice for someone to confirm it, though, isn't it?
Yes, it's exactly what you need. You sat there in the changing room,
I was turd. Thank you. No, what about if a manager? If you thought, all right, calm down, you're being a bit over technical, overthinking it. You go, come on, it's football. Don't be mental. Like what are you on about? Because I Pep and everything, and then the way that it's talked about, I'm like, they must be going, what are you on about? Like, obviously it works, but you go, the when I listen to stuff about it, I go, I don't know what you're actually saying, because like I obviously not, again, believe it or not, didn't play at a high level, Like we were told 4-4-2.
Wait, yet.
Yes. Special teams. But like left back, you're centre mid, whatever, and generally there's not a lot to it. But then they're talking about stuff like channels, and I'm like, what are you? I don't understand what you're on about. Is there a point where you go, I am going to try and score? That's what I'm going to do.
I mean, there's managers that you can understand the way they go into detail and stuff. You're like, this is brilliant. And especially, I think it helps if they say something and then it happens, then you're like, okay, that you start to believe in it more. So we had with Marcelo, he would literally tell us exactly how the game would go, how we would score a goal, and how if they were going to score, they'd score the goal. And every time he'd get it bang on. And so,
shit.
Honestly, it was ridiculous. Like,
how does he do that?
Because he watches an insane amount of football.
Wow, but it's still like human beings. Like,
yeah,
that. Wow,